What's going on, ChavezzSlovakia? Welcome back to the channel. We are here to do some more pro-revenge videos. We're looking for the video suggestions chat. And I got a message from Alucard. Shouts out to Alucard. The homie's been hooking me up with the best entitled parent content. Yo, hold on. Let me check the time. It's Skitting Film. Skit, baby! What? Are you here? Check this out. Sorrow TV did a face reveal. Hold on. I have it pulled up.
I'm here.
Why were you so ready to run in here?
Sorrow TV did a face reveal. I can't wait. Well, first of all, I knew he was white.
Okay, yeah. How did you guess that one? Do you want to see my body? Are you ready for this?
I don't know.
Check this shit out before you go to work real quick. That audio's not coming through the right spot. Off, hold on.
Wait, is he gonna have that mask on the whole time?
If he has that mask on the whole time, I'm gonna fucking riot. Hold on, let me turn the sound on there so you can hear it. Play.
This looks really stupid.
Hey! 400K special? Wait, this is so long ago! Wait, we haven't seen his face. This has been out since 2018.
Wait, no, it hasn't.
It says published
Why didn't any of you guys
January 17th,
Why didn't any of you
2018.
guys tell us this?
That said 400K specials at 1.4 mil. Sorrow.
Goodness gracious, I just reached 400,000 subscribers.
He looks exactly like I thought he was gonna look.
Did he really? I thought he would have more meat on his bones.
I definitely thought Sorrow TV was a skinny white dude.
What?
Was not anticipating as much facial hair. So good on
I thought
you
he
for
had
that,
I thought he'd
sir.
have a thick ass neck. All the voices he could do.
Questions, and they did. And now I'm gonna answer them, so here we go!
Wow, that really fucking fits your fucking face.
Like 100%.
I didn't know that's what you look like. This is how bad I am at scrolling the
Your
tubes.
brows are on point, sir. Just so
Do you
know.
wax them? Do you pluck them? Alright, I'll let you go now.
Alright, I gotta go to work.
Have fun at work. I love you. Give me this.
Oh, I'm so injured.
You look so beautiful.
Thank you.
You look so cute.
Thanks. I'm so injured. Stop touching my stomach. Stop touching my leg. Stop touching my other leg.
Break the pickle.
What?
The pickle. That's the pickle. Break it. Karate chop it. Tickle, tickle, tickle. You never done that?
What is that?
Break the pickle. Tickle, tickle, tickle. You do.
I've never heard of it.
You do it to toddlers. They love it. All right, I'll let you go. We're gonna do more pro revenge content. We'll watch that on our own time.
Toddlers, and I was like, sir, I've never.
You guys missed that whole conversation, and that's okay. r/pro revenge. Student destroys evil teacher, which is not the title of a sex movie. It's the title of a pro revenge from the r/guy. So shouts out to r/, and let's get into it. We haven't watched very much of this content. A couple of them he demonetized, not very many. So we just keep the names really family friendly sounding, and we'll continue with some more family friendly type content to make sure that we stay good for the advertisers. So let's do it.
In high school, about 10 years ago, I was quiet and attentive in class. Teachers liked me. I wasn't popular, but I had good friends. I say all this to explain that high school was relatively calm for me. I played sports, was on the student newspaper, and got decent grades.
Okay.
However, that all changed my second semester junior year. I've always been a voracious reader. My freshman English teacher recommended I move up to the honors English track, so I did for freshman, sophomore, and the first half of junior year. Then I was put into classical literature my second semester.
Which honestly is the best kind of literature. Like if you're gonna start reading, start with classical and then move your way to more modern stuff. Modern writing tries really hard, like, but the classical, maybe I'm just a nerd, but I really love how it fucking reads. But anyways.
Junior year. I've always loved Greek and Roman stories, and
Yes.
I've already read your typical high school classical reading list on my own.
Dude, I'm telling you, Zeus out here just doing it to everybody. Great man.
I didn't mind reading them again until I met Mrs. Umbridge. She put on a sweet facade, but she was downright evil. She also decided she hated me. I still do not know why, or what transgression I committed, but she hated me.
Hey, everybody had
I assumed
one.
it was my bad habit of sometimes nodding off in classes. At the time, I had undiagnosed thyroid issues and was getting up at 5 a.m. for swim practice. I say sometimes because it happened maybe twice a month total between all 8 classes. I don't remember nodding off in her class, but it could have happened. Anyways, her class was 50% essays, written reports. The rest were random quizzes and a couple of tests. I was on the student newspaper and I was a decent writer. I wasn't worried about maintaining a B or up. We wrote our first paper and I got a D. I was shocked. The only class I struggled in was chemistry, and still my lowest assignment grade was a C.
The last time I had a written assignment and I thought I did at least okay on it, it's like I think I did okay and I got like a D or something. I actually requested that some other professors grade the paper themselves based on the rubric, and then I brought that to the teacher, and then they considered changing the grade.
After class, I asked Miss Umbridge what I did wrong because her notes were minimal. She told me my assessment of the material was uninspired.
Bitch!
Okay, can you direct me to an example of an inspired assessment? Come back during study hall. Thinking she'd have some example materials for me to review, I got a pass to see her during study hall. Nope. She spent the full hour basically telling me I was an idiot. I remember leaving and crying because she didn't tell me anything constructive. My friend, the eventual valedictorian, offered to help me on my next paper. My friend and I spent hours on my next paper. She never got below an A- on anything. I got another D.
My God.
My friend was furious. She took it to her AP English teacher and asked him to review it.
Exactly.
She said she was entering a writing competition and wanted advice. He said it was great. Her typical A+ work. My friend, quicker on the uptake, asked me for a copy of my original assignment. She asked her AP teacher to look over it too, and he said she should enter the first one.
Exactly. What the fuck?
This one was still good. He'd probably give it an A-, but the other paper was better. My friend was convinced Mrs. Umbridge was treating me unfairly for some reason, and she must not like me. My friend wanted me to tell my parents or my school counselor. A teacher didn't like me? That had never happened. Sure, they didn't all love me, but none had actively disliked me.
Let me tell you, if a teacher can like me for as scatterbrained and loud as I am, they can definitely like a kid who is just mild and does his work like he's supposed to.
I decided I'd try one more time, but this time get Miss Umbridge to help me. Despite the previous horrors of spending study hall with Miss Umbridge, I went to her office during study hall 3 times before the next paper was due. She reviewed the paper and gave me tips on revising it each time.
Okay.
She did this in red pen. I took notes. By the time the next paper was due, I had 3 revised versions with her notes in red ink on each one. I got a D+. She smirked and congratulated me on my improvement.
Bitch, I would throw hands. Hands. That shit is disrespectful. I do a single rewrite of a paper if it gets a bad one, and fix all the shit that you want, and it will be at worst a C+. At worst, if I just really don't fucking get it, okay? And that's a lot. A lot of people, like you did, don't rewrite the first papers, bro. They write it one fucking time, submit that shit, and take the grade that they get. We got other things to do than be over here messing with you. Bitch. Yeah.
I was done. My friend was right.
Yeah.
This teacher had it out for me and she was giving me bad grades on purpose.
Fuck that hoe.
I'm a laid back person, but I was pissed. Never before been this pissed. I took my paper to my newspaper teacher. Sure, he didn't teach English, but our student paper constantly won awards because of his work. I told him I was having trouble in English and could he please look over my paper and give me advice. He was a little confused as to why I didn't ask my English teacher, but he did it. He also told me it was great and gave me a few minor changes to make. I asked him if he thought it was a B or better. He said he'd give it an A, not 100%, but a solid A. I went to my friend and we brainstormed. I couldn't request a drop ad. This wasn't college. You just don't switch classes at my high school.
You could definitely switch classes at my high school. That was a thing that you actually could do.
Unless the teacher recommends an honor placement. That's not true, said my friend. The football and basketball guys get moved to easier classes all the time to keep their grades up, so they're eligible for games. The athletics director was a friend of my dad, so I requested a meeting with him and my swim coach after school one day. I told them I was in danger of losing my eligibility to swim because I was pulling a D in a class. I wanted to move classes, but I knew I need approval from administration, which I wouldn't get without a good reason. They asked if I had requested help. I explained I had asked for help from multiple people,
bitch, and rewrote that hoe several times.
I didn't know what to do. They asked to see my papers. I sat while they read them. They both looked at me, confused. Neither of them could understand how those papers were worth only a D. The student vice principal was brought in. He asked who helped me. I explained my friend. He knew who she was, again, future valedictorian, and she had even asked her AP English teacher to look it over for advice. I had also asked my newspaper teacher to help me. Student VP asked if I had ever actually asked my teacher for help. I smiled and handed him the 3 revised versions of paper number 3 with Mrs. Umbridge's red ink.
What an evil sounding name, Miss Umbridge.
All over them. He frowned. AP English teacher and my newspaper teacher were pulled into a meeting. They were each asked to grade the papers. All 3 papers got an A- or better. While this was going on, my dad was called in by the athletics director. My dad was pissed. He demanded I be moved to another class and that Miss Umbridge be put under review. Clearly, she wasn't grading students on their work, but on her own personal opinions. The school administration obviously bristled at the accusation that a teacher was treating students unfairly. A lot of arguing that I wasn't allowed to sit on occurred in the VP's office. I could hear plenty of yelling as 6 adult men argued over the appropriate next steps. It was decided that myself, my dad, the vice principal, and athletics director would have a meeting with Mrs. Umbridge.
Okay.
The following morning before school, we all...
By the way, a lot of times out of none, if you go through that many steps, it is clear that that teacher has nothing left to offer you, man. At best, what you can be trying to get is more work to replace those grades, right?
Miss Umbridge seemed to think she was going to get to tell everyone why I was stupid. Vice Principal explained that if I maintained a D in her class, I would lose my extracurricular eligibility, and we were all meeting to discuss what to do. She smirked and said I should be moved to the non-honors English track, and I had no business being in honors English. I didn't have the aptitude to understand the complex classical literature they were studying, and I probably would need a tutor to even get through basic English.
If you guys haven't been through classical literature yet, bro, it's not that fucking complex. Every hard word has like a little asterisk on it if you go online to look it up, and it's mostly about killing and fucking. Like, it's not that hard.
I've never seen my father so red, and I half expected to see steam come out of his ears. Vice Principal asked why she didn't try to help me improve. She said it was up to the students to put in the initiative to get better. Vice Principal asked if that meant I had never asked her for help.
Exactly.
She said I had not.
You lied.
Vice Principal then pulled out the 3 revised versions of
Did you forget you did it?
and handed them to Miss Umbridge.
Did you forget?
Now it was her turn to be red. She called me a liar and said those notes weren't hers. Things got heated and I was asked to leave again. I sat outside the office. This time, the secretary was there and we both heard the shouting. School was set to start in 30 minutes and they were all just shouting. Then AP English teacher and newspaper teacher were called in again. More shouting.
More shouting!
About 5 minutes to the start of classes, the teachers left and I was called back in. If looks could kill, I'd have died then and there. When Miss Umbridge walked out of the vice principal's office, I was being moved to basic English effective immediately.
Yo!
My current grade would not carry over. I would not need to make up any past assignments, and new teacher would be instructed to grade me only on the assignments going forward. My new English teacher, Miss Honey, ended up being the English department head. She was at least 65 and had been doing this for decades. At 2.5 years of honors English, this class was easier than PE. I barely had to try to get an A, but I refused to let Miss Honey think Miss Umbridge had been right. I tried harder in that class than any other class that semester. I finished projects so quickly that I was asked to tutor a girl struggling in the class. I spent half the class period just helping this girl understand the material. I helped her go from a C- to a B+. I got something like 104%
good
in
shit.
The class.
That's what we expect here, but good job. Good job.
At the end of the semester, Miss Honey called me into her office during study hall. She was recommending I return to honors English for senior year. I must have looked panicked because she assured me Miss Umbridge would not be my teacher.
Good word.
In fact, she would not be anyone's teacher. She was leaving at the end of the school year. Miss Umbridge was only in her late 20s and unmarried, too early to retire. And my high school was in one of the best paying school districts in the state.
We only have one of those here, so I didn't really understand that. Everything's Clark County in Vegas, but I understand what you're saying now.
I knew what leaving meant. but Miss Honey still explained that I was put in her class on purpose. The school administration trusted Miss Honey to determine the truth of Mrs. Umbridge's claim that I was basically a lying idiot. Miss Honey stated I very clearly belonged in honors English. She apologized if her class had not been challenging enough for me. I cried. I mean, full-on ugly.
That's so sweet.
Cried. I didn't realize it, but part of me had actually believed Miss Umbridge up until that point. Miss Honey hugged me and consoled me. I spent senior year in honors English and spent my study hall tutoring Mrs. Honey's struggling students.
Nice.
To this day, I think about the awful woman fairly regularly. My career is strongly writing-based, and I still worry obsessively over my writing. I hope she never taught again, because she wreaked havoc on my self-confidence. OP is...
That's fucking great, man. Good story, dude. I really appreciate that. I feel very strongly about kids who really try hard to improve grades and things like that. And I feel like your grades should not only reflect the work you did, but the work that you're putting in to improve yourself. I feel like that should be a very even ratio. And I feel like your ending grade in the class should reflect what you end up knowing, not the work that you might have done all the way up into that point, but almost like your improvement in the subject and mastery of the subject. Very strongly about grades. You know, I feel like you can be unconventional as a student and get good grades and things like that. Alexa, goddammit! You motherfucker. I gotta go handle this bitch. But I'll see you guys in the next one, ChavezzSlovakia. Thanks for all the love and support, man. Let me know if you have any troublesome teachers, so we gotta roll through and do what we gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I'll see y'all.